Hi, I want to talk to you today about the Sony A6500. I want to talk about why I like it, form factor, features, all the great things about this camera. I'm out here in Joshua Tree, California. I'm going to walk around and do some shooting with my wife, and then I'm going to head on home and I'll work some more on this review and talk about what this camera can do, why I like it, and why I switched from Canon SLRs to this camera. The Sony A6500 is a mirrorless interchangeable lens camera. It has an APS-C CMOS sensor that is the top-rated sensor in its class by DxOMark. The sensor has 425 phase detection autofocus points across the entire frame. It has 5-axis in-body stabilization that Sony says allows you to shoot 5 stops slower and still get a sharp image. The LCD is a touch screen that allows touch autofocus. It has a magnesium alloy body, is dust resistant and water resistant, with a shutter that is rated for 200,000 shutter release cycles. The LCD screen tilts out and up. It has 9 customizable buttons, shoots 11 frames per second and 4K video, and has an ISO range of 100 to 25,600 and does many more things. Okay, so my wife and I had a great day out in Joshua Tree shooting, as you can see, and I want to talk a little bit more in detail about why I like this camera. One thing I like about it is I like its size and weight. I do a lot of traveling, and because of that, I like something that's easy to carry around, that's small, that fits in a small bag, so I don't have to carry a big bag. I like the fact that it's inconspicuous. I like the fact that it doesn't draw attention to itself. I was walking through Paris once and I had a big Canon DSLR hanging off my side, and this young man came up to me and said, "Hey mister, you better watch out. You can't leave that camera hanging off your side like that. You better hold on to it or somebody's going to cut it off and take it away from you." And this camera, not so much. This camera people aren't so much looking at as a expensive camera, even though it's not cheap, but it's not expensive either. So I like the size, I like the portability, I like the weight. I'm not getting any younger, and I like carrying something light. I like the way it looks. I like the rangefinder look. You know, just a neat looking camera. I like the idea that the viewfinder is on off to the side of the camera. I've shot weddings and I mostly shot with Canon DSLRs, and by the end of the wedding, because the viewfinder is in the middle of the camera, my nose is pressed up against the LCD screen. By the end of the wedding, my nose will be sore because you constantly have your nose right up against the LCD screen the whole time looking through the viewfinder. Well, now it's off to the side. I really like that feature. What else do I like about this camera? It has the electronic viewfinder. That's what I like. The electronic viewfinder. I like the fact that when I look through the electronic viewfinder and I'm adjusting my exposure, that I can see what that's doing to the image right away before I ever press the shutter button. Where with my old DSLRs, I wouldn't know that I'd taken a bad shot until after I took a picture and looked at the back of the screen. Now I can know immediately what kind of picture I'm going to take. What else I like? I like the fact that it's very fast autofocus. It has, like I said in the introduction, it has 425 phase detection points on the screen, not on the screen, on the sensor, and it also has contrast detection as well. That's why it's called a hybrid autofocus. And because of this, because of this combination of the phase detection and the contrast detection for autofocus, it makes it incredibly fast. Because what phase detection does is phase detection is very fast, and what it does is it will take the image and split it And you can look this up on the internet and see exactly how it works. But it'll take the image and split it, so to speak. Like you have this image here, and the image is split, and it'll line it up, and that'll bring you right into focus. Well, and it happens very quickly, but it doesn't give you the most accurate autofocus. Contrast detection, what it does is it moves in and out to find the place where the sharpest contrast happens, and then it focuses in. So if you have phase detection that first snaps that picture into focus, and then you have contrast detection that brings it into a really accurate, sharp focus, you get the best of both worlds, and it happens really quickly in this camera. So I like that. It has great image quality, as you can see in the pictures that I showed you. It has 5-axis in-body image stabilization. I like that a lot. I like the fact that my lenses don't have to have stabilization, that I can pick and choose any lens I want. I don't have to base it on whether or not it has stabilization. Because I used to always shoot with a tripod, and now I rarely shoot with a tripod with image stabilization that the lenses have and the cameras have. And I think the in-body stabilization works better than the lens stabilization. And when you have a combination where I have the new 18 to 135 on my camera right now, and it has optical steady shot, plus my camera body has in-body stabilization, I get two things working for me to stabilize the lens, and it's really great. I like the fact that you can get these line of small lenses to keep your form factor small. I like the fact with the in-body stabilization that I can shoot one-handed sometimes. Sometimes I'll get down on the ground and I got one elbow on the ground and I'm shooting like this, and I can still get a really sharp image. One of the other things I like is that it has 9 customizable buttons. If you look on the back right here, you will see that this camera has, let's look on the top first, okay? We have 2 buttons here. We have custom button 1, custom button 2, and then here you have the autofocus manual focus, and you have the AEL. When you switch this switch, it turns this button into a different function. And you can assign this button to many functions, not any function, but most of the functions the camera will do. And then you flip it down, and you can assign it to another function. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you can assign this middle button to any function you want. That's 5, and then you can assign this other C3 button. That's 6, and then you can assign, if you push to the right, 7, to the left, 8, and to the bottom 9, all those can be assigned to different functions. So this gives you the ability to never go into the menu system, and you have 9 different things that you can draw from, and I really have to go into the menu system. And then the other cool thing that it has is it has this button here, which is your function button, which gives you, let me get the camera booted up, which gives you a quick menu, and you can set up a bunch of functions in there, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have 12 functions that you can put in there. Okay, so you have 9 here that are readily accessible to you through buttons, and then you have 12 here that all you have to do is push this FN button, and you can navigate around there by pushing this. So the camera is very customizable, and I really love that. Now, I've heard people complain that, my Canon cameras always had what they call a quick menu, and I heard them complain that the Sony doesn't have a quick menu, but it does. You hit this FN button and you get this menu, and I would call that a quick menu. So I like that about this camera. I like the fact that it's set up so that you can set it up to fit you. And some people complain that some of the buttons are counterintuitive and they're hard to reach and they're hard to figure out where they are when they have their eye against a viewfinder. That's just about learning your camera. That's just about spending time with your camera and using it. Because at some point, your camera should become invisible to you if you want to make good images. It should just be the tool that's in your hand, but you should be forgetting about your camera and making good images and thinking about your images. So those are some of the things that I like about this camera. It's probably my favorite camera that I've ever owned. And I've owned, I always shot Canon before this. I've owned every level of Canon's cameras that you could buy. I've had their Rebel digital cameras. I've had I've gone through their what they call their prosumers. I've gone through their the next level up was like a 7D. I've owned their highest level camera, the 1D series, and I've owned 5D cameras. And this is really my favorite camera that I've ever owned. I really love this camera. Like I said, I love the size of it, I love the portability, I love the image quality, I love the fast autofocus, and I just highly recommend it. I think it's an awesome camera, and it's a lot of fun to use. So, well, that's my thoughts on this camera. It's not a super technical review, because I don't do super technical reviews. I like to do what I call real world reviews, which is how do you use the gear, and how does it fit what you want to do. So that's my thoughts on this camera. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like, and if you want to see more of my videos, go ahead and subscribe. And I'm building content on my YouTube channel right now. I'm still figuring out how to make these videos and how to make them interesting, and how to and bring things that are interesting to other people. I'm going to be doing some tutorials and some other gear reviews, and I also do some tutorials on software. So thanks for watching.